All right, thank you for being here, and thank you for allowing me to talk, Roshi. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you being here, and I appreciate your practice. It really makes a difference, and it's really worth all the effort and support. So today I'm going to talk about the Koan. The barbarian has no beard. And so to get started, as an introduction, I'm just talk a bit. So basically this koan, to my mind, is a koan about the absolute and the relative. Well, it's one way of talking about it, is that it's bringing up the ideas of absolute and relative, and helping us to kind of cut through them. And so a question is, what's essential? It's one of the questions of the koan. What is essential and what is non-essential, or I would say characteristic? We all have characteristics and we all have identities. We define ourselves. And so I want to ask all of you, I do want to ask all of you right now to think of one word that you would say defines or describes your being the best. It could be something you do or one of your characteristics. And so, if you have a pen and a paper, you can write it down. If you don't, just try to remember it. But think about it. Think of one word. If you had to answer one word that describes your essence in the best way that you think it can, I just want you to think about that. And the next question is, okay, so right, if I'm a teacher, I might say I'm a teacher or a father, or I'm compassionate, or I'm independent, or I'm courageous, or I'm fearful, or I'm a driver, or I'm a manager, or I'm a priest, or I'm a parent, I'm a student. So all of these things, all of these possibilities, it's infinite. So for whatever that is for you, what is one thing that's connected to that identity that you do, an activity or a function of that, right? So if I'm a teacher, then it means I have students, right? Or lessons, or books, or a chalkboard, or these days a smart board, computer. If I'm a teacher, if I'm a priest, then I have robes, I have duties, I have commitment. If I'm a parent, I have kids or duties. So anyway, it goes on and on. So whatever it is for you, whatever your description, like your essence, the word that captures your essence, and then the something that is connected with that you have or you do that defines that supports that role or that identity. And so if you can do that, can everybody do that? Raise your hand if you're able to do that. Is it hard? Is it too abstract? Yeah, well, thanks for trying. So now think about dropping it, right? Dropping that. Whatever the idea is that you're connected with, how you define yourself. how we define ourselves. Try to drop that. Try to drop the idea of what I'm supposed to do or what I do as part of my identity. Drop my identity, drop your identity. I am this, I am that. I am a good person. I like to tell myself that. I have good intentions. And so that's what the koan is about. This koan is about practicing dropping our ideas and our identities in order to experience the other side. And it's not really sides, but it's the other aspect of our being, which is not that. And that's what we're calling the absolute. So as beings in this, it's paradoxical. We're a paradox in that we are here and we have bodies and identities and minds, and yet we are also not here. We are empty. And there is nothing we can point to or hold that is us or our essence. And we're constantly changing, and our atoms at the smallest level become nothing. We're like whirling energy. Energies that are whirling in and out of existence. And so that's really a big part of what Zen is to practice Zen and to experience Zen is to experience that duality, that the absolute and the relative sides of our life. And to experience that. We experience, the relative side more easily, I think, more naturally. It's like because we have to struggle. Part of the nature of our existence is struggle, and that's the suffering that is part of our nature. Life is suffering. Life is struggling. So we have to struggle. We have to differentiate and to survive. And yet we also have these experiences of when we drop that. And so I think a relatively small part of Zen is experiencing that, dropping that. And then the bulk of Zen is to help us remember or remind ourselves to come back to that continually. And so that's the practice. That's why we sit here. We sit here. Literally, we're sitting together and we're just trying to sit without all the stuff. We're trying to sit without the identity, without the ideas that sort of consistently bombard our reality. So we're just trying to sit without the ideas. So we're all just sitting here staring at the floor, scrolling through the ideas, and then occasionally we get to drop them, and it's just, oh, we're just sitting. There's just sitting here. And then and from that perspective, there's nothing. It's just this. And man, what a challenge it is to experience that more and more. Like to see it once is amazing and wonderful. And to see it while we're sitting still is amazing and wonderful. and then to see it when we're frustrated and upset and depressed and angry and happy is even better. That's a goal. We do have goals in Zen, and it's to experience having no goal more and more. And it is a real practice. We have to practice. Anyway. So the koan, we talk about the koan a bit. Okay. Mumon's commentary: if you practice Zen, you must actually practice it. If you become enlightened, it must be the real experience of enlightenment. You see this barbarian once face to face, then for the first time, you will be able to acknowledge him. But if you say that you see him face to face, in that instant, there is division into two. Okay. So the case is, Koan said, "Why has the Western barbarian no beard?" Right, and so the idea is that, of course, the Western barbarian is a famous figure, relatively, to the point that everyone who knows what that means knows that he has a beard. It's like a primary characteristic. And so to deny that is ironic or paradoxical. And so, right, what a great koan. It's so simple. It's the simplest koan, is that here's something that you all can recognize, and I'm telling you that it's not true. The teacher has no students. The manager has no schedule. The priest has no robes. The parent has no kids, etc. And so to see this, right? So to see this face to face is to see your own identity dropped away. To experience that every way I define myself is non-essential. And that's the experience of true self or no self. Everything has two aspects, phenomenal and essential. The phenomenal Bodhidharma has a beard, but the essential Bodhidharma has no beard. To realize this, you must grasp by experience the essential nature of Bodhidharma. We cannot locate our essential nature because it is zero, yet it has infinite capabilities. It can see with eyes, walk with legs, think with a brain, and digest food with a stomach. It weeps when it is sad and laughs when it is happy. Though it is zero, no one can deny its existence. Okay, and so that's our practice. That's what we're practicing, is to get to that 0 point. And it's really it takes so much concentration. It takes concentration, and it takes the inspiration, right? Concentration and inspiration to see this. And to see it more and more, to strive on a daily basis with Who am I? And then reminding ourselves, oh, I'm not this. Oh, I'm not this. This is not me. Being stuck, being upset, being angry, being frustrated. This is not me. Being loving and kind. This is not me. And so the meditation, that's where meditation comes in handy, is we develop the concentration to be able to remind ourselves more and more, oh, this is not me. This is not me. He says here, when you are occupied with some conceptual activity, you are no longer a Buddha, but an ordinary sentient being. All right, that's interesting way to put it, right? Of course, we're always Buddha. And yet when we're struggling in the dualism, we are not. We're just struggling people. But if we can bring this concentration to that struggle, then we are Buddha. If I'm struggling and I can remind myself, oh, I'm struggling. This is just me. This is just this, but it's not my essential nature. Then I am Buddha. Or realizing even better that, oh, this struggle, this is my essential nature because there's nothing here. Then we are Buddha. Okay, so that's basically what I've got to share about this. We watched Forrest Gump the other day in class, and he always ends with, and that's all I have to say about that.